Also, chat saying, why did Syracuse hang with Clemson? Why was it a close game? Well, you know, it was a close game temporarily. And it was also a close game because of some things that didn't have anything to do with the defense. And we'll get into that a little bit further. But when we go through the offensive player of the game, defensive player of the game, and offensive and defensive grades, and I'll try to tackle that question about why the game was close in this section. But offensive player of the game for me, while he did not score, I bragged about him all night. Amari Rodgers, he is the true alpha. He's not your big-time Justin Ross. He's not your big-time T. Higgins or Mike Williams, but he is definitely the alpha, definitely a leader. Now, sprinkle in a drop, also sprinkle in a behind-the-back pass that he can't catch, but he is definitely somebody who you can count on when you need to move the chains the most. He typically seems to be there. He's all over the field making plays, and that's why I have Amari Rodgers as my offensive player of the game. Defensive player of the game, Mike Jones Jr., 3 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception that was almost a touchdown. If his hamstring would have just held on for a little bit longer, it could have been a touchdown, pick 6. But Mike Jones Jr., again, got the forced fumble. Andrew Booth was like 35 yards away from the play, and heads-up play ran and picked up the ball for a scoop and score. But really, it was all credit to Mike Jones and that pressure that he got and that strip that he got with Brian Brzee in there as well, getting that double tackle. So those are my 2 players of the game.
Yeah, so offensive player of the game, I actually went with Cornell Powell here. It's weird because he only had 2 catches for 45 yards, but he did have a touchdown, and it's what we've been wanting to see from Cornell Powell. That's really all you really need from him in a game. Just a couple catches for mid-range yardage and a touchdown. Just he can fight for the ball. That's one thing I think he can do in traffic. Not that he goes up and catches it over somebody, but that he tries to catch it out in front of his body in traffic. He can do that pretty well, and I like the way he did that on Saturday. So I gave him the offensive player of the game. This is a tough offensive player of the game. I think I was with you guys, and Amari Rodgers was kind of who I immediately went to. And then I was like, you know what? I'm giving it to Powell. I like what he's done. We heard a lot about him this offseason. We've been hearing a lot about him for a lot of years, and it's his time to come through and be a possession guy if that's what he's going to be. Be the third down guy that we need. I don't care. Play your role, and he's doing good with that right now, and I'll accept that. Defensive player of the game, I also went with Mike Jones Jr. He had half a sack. He had half a tackle for loss. He didn't get the forced fumble, I don't believe. I believe the forced fumble was Brzee's. But he was the reason for that forced fumble, okay? He also had the interception for 40 yards. What was so impressive to me was on that play where we got the scoop and score by Andrew Booth. Man, I mean, he is being blocked by the lineman, and he reaches around the lineman and grabs the quarterback and holds on for dear life, which is incredible strength, okay? To still be being blocked and have hold of a quarterback who can, wiggle away if they want to, and a lot of them would. He just grabs him and holds on just enough for Brzee to get over there and just smash the guy and knock the ball loose. And, of course, then they try to flop on the ball, and nobody knows where it is, and it kind of squirts out underneath. And Booth just effortlessly glides in, picks it up, and goes for a touchdown. So, yeah, I gave it to Mike Jones Jr. as well. A good game by him. I like what I've seen from him so far this year.
My offensive player of the game for Clemson, the great cornflake gate of 2020. Travis Etienne gets it. Look, I know this shows if there's anything troubling to me, and I think it's just how things were, 12 o'clock, Jefferson Pilot Sports game of the day, basically sleepy, 20,000 seats or 20,000 fans in the stands. Nobody's there. The offense was sputtering. Clemson didn't know what to do. Travis Etienne has to go to the locker room, comes back out after getting an IV, and just turns it on. And I know he only had 86 yards of total offense, but he's a difference maker. To me, if Trevor Lawrence wins the Heisman this year, he needs to share that with Travis Etienne because Travis Etienne commands the field, commands a lot of the respect of the field. And a lot of what Trevor Lawrence is able to accomplish on the field is partly due to how much the defense respects Travis Etienne. My defensive player of the game, Brian Brzee. Look, he was the one that caused the fumble, but I don't think a lot of people understand how much he's commanding as far as offensive line or offensive lineman per blocking. All right. He's getting double teamed every pass play. We're talking about a true freshman right now has the ability to come in and make that much of a difference for Clemson right now. And I know that a lot of Clemson fans have been spoiled with the Dexter Lawrences and the Christian Wilkins of the world, but Brian Brzee is a different type of player that he's just now figuring out. He's still figuring out, and he's commanding this, getting game-winning fumbles basically for Clemson to win the game. Brian Brzee could be one of the all-time best defensive tackles to ever play the game, and he's showing that right now. And I think you may not see as much on the stat sheet, but he absolutely deserves a player of the game, in my opinion.
Big Allen Adams already said that like 4 months ago. So, you know,
just repeating it.
But yeah, it is nice to see what he is doing. Number 11 there. Still don't see a lot of number 13. There's some speculation, some rumors going on. We won't get into those, but we hope that he is healthy and will be back. But some things are out there. Hopefully we get to see Tyler Davis some more. But Brian Brzee, definitely a freshman, but he's having a huge impact for sure. For offensive and defensive grades, I've got I really didn't knock the offense because they still put up a ton of points, even though they didn't cover the spread. It's not really the point of the game to cover the spread. That's just our, entertainment. This team is great at passing the ball. They definitely are average or below average in the ACC as far as rushing the ball, like I've already said. But I'm concerned in the sense that I want to see Travis Etienne just destroy everyone, and I want to see him kind of double team things with the offensive line attacking with him, and not just him kind of two steps and he's on his own basically. But I give the offense a B because again I think they're one of the best. They're proven statistically one of the best passing games out there. And don't give up a ton of sacks. Trevor Lawrence does have a mistake here and there. Travis Etienne does have a fumble here and there. So I can't give him an A in that sense. And that fumble did set up a touchdown. So let me tell you this. I'm giving the defense an A. Question was, why did Syracuse have it close? Well, Syracuse had it close. They blocked a punt, and there was a fumble from Travis Etienne. The defense did not give up but one touchdown, and it was a blown coverage touchdown. Okay, by Joseph Charleston, who's kind of a new guy, right? So I'm giving the defense an A, only allowing 21 points, one off of a fumble, one off of a block punt kind of thing. Or no, excuse me, I said block punt, pick 6 by Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence was throwing it and they returned it for a pick 6. So gave the defense only 20 yards to stop them. And they scored, and then the pick 6 was the other score, and then there was the deep ball that was the third score. To me, you really can only say that it was the defense's problem of scoring on that deep ball. Other than that, you only got 7 points really as far as earned run average. Well, I say earned touchdown average. I give them only 7 points on that. So give the defense an A, offense a B.
All right, so I'm definitely going to be more harsh than you were on those.
I am an easy grader. Right? You want me in college? I'm an easy grader.
So I'm giving the offense a C+. I think the fact that they didn't have any rhythm in the run game against a terrible run defense is a red flag. I understand people are scheming to stop Travis Etienne, and they're doing a good job. I mean, Georgia Tech did a good job. Syracuse did a good job. I think the fact that he didn't need his frosted flakes, like you said, I mean, that was the biggest thing. He's having him on the sideline. That was not fun to see as a Clemson fan. But Etienne had another fumble that is not like him. He's now had 2 in the last 2 games. Lawrence had a pick 6, and he had another pass that should have been picked off. The guy tipped it in the air like 6 times, and he missed it. Okay. I'm not sure what Lawrence is looking at here, but he's got to correct those mistakes. These are not Lawrence-like. All right, these are not Lawrence Heisman-like, okay? He's going to get those fixed. I'm not worried about Lawrence in any way, shape, form, or fashion, but he didn't have his greatest game, plain and simple. So I give the offense a C+. Again, this is a team they could have scored 73 against easy, just like they did against Georgia Tech. It just didn't happen. But that's okay. They're going to get it under control. I am not worried in any way about the Clemson offense. Let me make that very clear. In defense, I gave a B-. Again, like you mentioned, they had the busted play by Joseph Charleston for 83 yards. That was brutal. Okay, that is a huge misplay. No safety, or he was a safety, I guess, on that play, and somehow he got sucked way up. Okay, that was tough. That was tough to watch.
Al, he wasn't really sucked up, dude. He was like 12 yards off the line of scrimmage. The guy blew past him. That
just blew past him. That's even worse. that's not helping their grade any. Maybe I need to change this. No, it was again, they couldn't get a couple of stops on third down and long, which I was pretty disappointed in. It seemed like they was just pitch and catch with somebody at the line, somebody at the marker, and they would just pitch it, catch it, and fall down at the marker, get the first down. I was a little disappointed in that. What really bothers me, and again, if he's out for any significant amount of time, this is going to be tough for Clemson, is the fact that how much different our defense looks when Tyler Davis is not on the field. Okay, I understand Skowski was not there and Kendrick was not there, and those are both very valuable players. I would say Skowski is more important right now because of the depth at defensive back than Kendrick is, but both very important players. But Davis is on a completely other level. When he is out of the game, this has been proven time and time again this year only that we are a different team and cannot get the pressure without Tyler Davis. I think it was Houston talking earlier about the double teams that Brzee is soaking up. And that's all fine and good, but usually they're blocking with 5 linemen. If Brzee is taking 1 or taking 2, and whoever our other defensive tackle is that is not Tyler Davis is only taking 1, somebody is going to have to make somebody miss, whether it be KJ Henry on the end, whether it be Miles Murphy. Somebody's got to find a way to win the one-on-ones, because without Tyler Davis taking up a second double team from the inside, we're not getting pressure. And we've got to do a better job of that. I think we will. I'm sure Brent Venables will scheme around it if Davis is out for any kind of length of time. But it was a little concerning. So I gave the defensive grade a B-, and I still think there's a lot more we're going to see from this defense before the season is done.
Houston, in your honor, chat is saying we should boycott Frosted Flakes, cancel Frosted Flakes. Somebody said Frosted Flakes has not done the job ever since Michelle Obama took away half the frost. So lots of problems, lots of issues with Frosted Flakes tonight.
Hashtag no comment. Goodness gracious. Okay. Well, if we're going by tougher graders here for Clemson, we've got freshman level Morgan, we've got senior level Big Al. I'm going to be your master's course grader here because nobody's getting good grades for Clemson this week. I'm going to give the defense a C, and that's being generous. Look, I'll give you credit. I'll give Clemson credit. You're down 3 starters and one key reserve. That's going to make a difference, all right? But not only did they give up a big blown coverage play that's inexcusable to a team like Syracuse, no one is talking about how they got gashed for the better part of the second and the third quarter by whatever the name of the Syracuse running back is. I don't know, Trashy McTrasherson or whatever his name is. All right. They got gashed. They had some problems dealing with this. And this goes back to one thing that I keep saying over and over again. Stop running a 3-man front. Stop it. Stop running a 3-man front, especially if you don't have Tyler Davis. All right. If Clemson doesn't have Tyler Davis, like Al was saying, Clemson's a different team. When you have Tyler Davis commanding all this, you have Brzee, you have Tyler Davis, you have Miles Murphy, all this. It's a different team. When you run a 3-man front, you have a bunch of young defensive ends and defensive tackles just going upfield, and 7 yards later, you're tackling somebody downfield. Clemson was fortunate. They gave up a ton of third and longs. I don't understand that. Now, that's partly because Clemson didn't have Darian Kendrick. I understand that. But it was not the best effort. All right. It was not the best effort. They gave up a ton of yards. They gave up some points off of turnovers, block kicks, whatever. Just wasn't crisp on that side of the ball. I gave the defense first because the offense, I was this close to giving an F. This close. I'm giving a D- to the offense. That was garbage. All right. I'm going to be harsh. That was garbage on Saturday. All right. You have the best 2 players in America on your team. All right. You have Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. And I get it. Trevor Lawrence did not have his Christmas game. It's hard to do that. It's hard to come out week after week and produce 300, 400-yard games. You beat a team 73-7. I was expecting Clemson to kind of regress to back a little bit this week, but not like that. 27 points in 3 quarters is inexcusable, especially with the mistakes that were going on. Fumbles, snaps over heads, pick sixes. I was fuming at the way that Clemson handled the end of the first half, in a sense that if you score a touchdown, you don't throw that pick six, it's 31-7 at halftime. We're not having this conversation. I don't care how close it gets in the second half. We're not having this conversation if you're on point with that. Secondly, what are we doing in our play calling or what is Clemson doing in their play calling? What's Tony Elliott doing? All right, because when you look at once again, Clemson has the two best players in America on their offense. No screens, no using the tight ends downfield. The times that you did, you score touchdowns. You move down the field. You have different points in time where Braden Galloway and Davis Allen get you down the field. And then Travis Etienne goes out and it just all goes away. What happened? What's Clemson doing? So I think play calling, I think the crispness of us, it was awful. It was garbage. Clemson should have scored 50 points. And I'm particularly not too keen on taking Trevor out at the end there and putting DJ in. I know play a bunch of guys, all this kind of stuff. We're up, like Clemson's up 20 by 26, but score 50. Get Trevor his yards, get Trevor his points, get him experience. Like Morgan was saying, get him some time with his boys in the first string to get some points, and like we won't have this conversation.
Oh man. Chat saying Houston of all people definitely needs his Frosted Flakes after that. He is very heated. Some people I'm getting text messages over this Houston saying, man, you really need your Frosted Flakes over a 26-point win.
Just saying.
Have a Snickers.
Best is the standard. Best is the standard.
Travis Etienne's getting his Frosted Flakes, so we should too. But they don't sponsor us. Until they do, we are not going to talk about them in that way. We're not going to promote them on this show. We only promote small businesses here. Unless they want to give us some money, then we will sponsor us Frosted Flakes. But again, yeah, I mean, there were definitely some frustrations from the fan base as a whole, for sure. And I think that when you step back and look at it, Clemson is still one of the best offenses out there. However, I do think they do need to improve as far as rushing the ball. I think it is unfair to Travis Etienne, who came back for his senior season and seems to be, kind of not having as much success as I had hoped to preseason. So definitely some things that they need to work on. And hey, I mean, we're talking about things that they need to work on. I know you got some sunshine pumpers out there saying they'll never watch the show again or listen to the show again. And I hate that for you because, to be honest with you, if you talk to Tony Elliott, which the media did, first thing out of Tony Elliott's mouth was that they have a certain standard and they didn't reach that standard this Saturday. So there are definitely some things they need to clean up, and that is from Tony Elliott's mouth. So, it's not just fans being fans. It's not just us being hypercritical. Yes, it was a 27-point win, but there's some give and take with that because the Yankees, when the Yankees get to where they were at, the Yankees have always been elite, right? But you don't see the Yankees back in the day bragging about, beating the Expos. You want the Yankees to destroy the Expos. You want the Yankees to go up against whoever they can and destroy everyone. Same thing with Clemson. Clemson has got that best as the standard on the wall. And so, we didn't invent that phrase, right? So we're only giving comments on the best as the standard.